welcome back to the MANN channel. All right, so I just got back down here to the shop, and this will be the first weekend that I'll actually work a day down here. So, and I mean for my day job. So this is Thursday night. In previous years, usually we have every Friday off, me and my wife. But because we both I started a new job and she started a new role at her job, we had to do it a little bit different this year, so we took every other Friday off. And so tomorrow I will be working here for my day job. I work remotely anyways. I did bring down a load of stuff, and I've got a roll of carpet in there. I plan on trying to get the carpet on the stairs done this weekend, and also starting on the trim and seeing what I can knock out there. But we will be trying to go to the lake tomorrow afternoon / evening, and then we'll also go to the lake on Saturday morning. So I'm gonna go ahead and get unloaded here. Really it's just the carpet. I've got some barn door hardware for the closets, and then I've got my cornhole game, and some outdoor furniture that we're gonna end up putting on the deck at some point. We just need to get the deck sealed before we do that. Yeah, so I'm just gonna get that unloaded and then probably start working on the carpet, I guess. So here we go. All right, out at the lake. This is actually a day beyond what you last saw. So I finished up the stairs yesterday, and then We headed out to the lake just after 5 to see if we could get in last night and maybe get a set. But it was super windy last night, which kind of sucked because all day yesterday was nice, but I was working my day job and just doing the stairs. I did most of it on my lunch hour, did some of it early morning before my job started. It's nice to get that done. I did work on a little bit of interior trim last night, and I can show you that later on. I will be working on a lot of that this afternoon. So we are here Saturday morning, and it's a little windy right now. It's not too bad though, and it actually feels like it's calming down, and actually I'm gonna be able to get out to my spot and go quite a ways down my normal lane, and sometimes right out there it'll be totally different than it is in here. It's supposed to be overcast today, a high of 74, so the water temp is actually 69, so that's actually really good. I think the last time I was in it was like 64, 65. So it won't be bad. In a wetsuit, this type of weather doesn't really bother me. It's just the wind. But yeah, just waiting for them to get down from parking the truck, and then we'll head out to the spot and see if I can get a set. I think no matter what, I'll at least surf today. It'll just depend on what the wind does to determine whether or not I wakeboard. I'd love a good wakeboard set, but you know, I take what I can get this time of year, and just happy to be getting a lot of the shop stuff done. Really, I don't have too much left before it is pretty much done. There's lots of little things, but I'm not really, you know, I'm kind of at a point where I'm not too worried about getting those things done really quickly. The trim, the interior trim is kind of the last thing that I really want to sort of knock out fairly quickly. Everything else, like, you know, doing the concrete patio under the deck, I'll just take my time doing that here and there. And then you know, I got to do the closets, but it's really easy. We're just putting a shelf in with, you know, the kind of the basic like hanger bar with a shelf above it. So little stuff like that. It's just, I'm just gonna kind of do as I have time. Whereas everything up through interior trim, I've been trying to just knock it out. Anyways, we're gonna go pick them up now. I can see them coming down, and then gonna get out there. All right, we're sitting out here where I usually ride, and it's pretty windy. It's not crazy windy, but it's definitely windier than I like to wakeboard in. There's Wakely trying to check you guys out, and there's Mama over there. So it's looking like it's not likely that I'll be wakeboarding, but I'll probably just hang out for half an hour to an hour to see if it calms down, and then if not, I'll just surf. The good news is we are about halfway into my normal riding lane, and it's 11 foot below the bottom of the boat, which means I can pretty much use the whole lane. And in the next week, I'm sure it'll come up a few more feet, and it'll be safe to go all the way to the bridge, which is a solid like between 10 and 15 mile in one direction ride. So that's good. Usually we have to wait a little longer for that to happen. So good news there, but it'd be a lot better news if I could wakeboard this morning, but that's okay. Anyways, we're gonna wait it out here and see what we get. All right, I just took a real quick wakeboard set because it was kind of windy. You know, it just calmed down a little bit, so I decided to go for it. But it's super inconsistent, so I stopped that and I started surfing, and then there was a thunderstorm headed our way, and now we're in it, if you can't tell. Getting rain on everything. Luckily, that's one of the benefits of this tower that comes down. You can get it down on top of us pretty close, and it keeps us mostly dry. But I'm heading back to the dock because we're basically done. But I'm going slow because there's still a bunch of junk in the water, and when it's rainy and a little windy, it's hard to see it. So anyways, yeah, I think we're done for the weekend as far as boating goes. And she's super worried about the thunder.
But I want you to tell them about the fish you saw.
Oh yeah, I surfed right over top of a dead carp, which was really gross, and it made me fall. I could probably, you might have seen it. I might have pointed it out in the video clips just a moment ago. Yeah, we're gonna work on getting off the water here, and we're head back to the shop and keep on working on trim. All right, back at the shop, and I was just gonna show you last night. I didn't film it, but I started putting on the interior trim. So you can see this piece is done right there, and the curtain's kind of covering it. And I also did this piece of trim here. So you can start seeing what the trim looks like. I left all this out so that we could put sealant on it possibly before we push all this stuff back. So yeah, I think it looks pretty good. This wall right here, both downstairs and upstairs, is the longest wall, and I think it's like 14.5 feet or 15 feet, somewhere around there. So I'm gonna do that upstairs too, and do that wall. And those are some of the only walls. There's only a few walls I can do before I case out doorways, because typically you do those first, so that way when you go between here and here, that piece is already there. So that's what I'm gonna, so that's what I'm gonna spend probably the rest of today on, and part of tomorrow is just, I'm hoping to have all these doorways cased out, and also the windows. And also the windows. I want to get all the windows cased out. If I'm done with that before we leave for the weekend, then I'm going to be happy about it.
This is our office.
Yeah, and this is where I work my day job. When I work here every other Friday, I'm working my day job here, but I did that yesterday actually. But yeah, so here's another example. I'd like to get this window cased out before we leave here. So anyways, I'm gonna start working on doing the interior trim. One of the things that's gonna suck is I think all the doorways and windows I gotta case out, I'm gonna have to rip them long ways. So use a table saw, because I don't have boards that exactly fit this. So I think this is around 4 or 4.5. I know all the doorways, except for this one. You know, right here I gotta rip it about a 2-inch piece, because this pre-hung door isn't for a 6-inch. So I think this width right here is actually, it's a 5.5-inch board, and I think 1/2 inch on each side, so that's 6.5 inches. But this is the width of a normal doorway, and I couldn't find wood that was this width. I think that's 4.5. So what I do have, I think, is a 1x6, but it's technically 5.5. But I think that's, so this is a 3.5 inch normal 2x4, and these are 1/2 inch on each side, so that's basically 4.5 width. So I'm gonna have to rip 1 inch off of each board. So that's gonna take a little bit of time, whereas those, all I had to do is measure, chop, saw them really quick, and then put them in. So hoping I can get that done this weekend, we'll see. So here we go. All right, just finishing up here. As you saw, I got everything cased. So basically the inside of the doorway and windows, which I needed a table saw for. I wanted to knock that out because I'm not a fan of using a table saw. And I'm borrowing my buddy's table saw. He said he didn't need it for a while, so I think I'll keep it for one more weekend just in case I run into something where I need a table saw. And then I was able to get, all the trim done inside of the washroom, basically, or the closet that has the washer and dryer. We were gonna hook those up, but realized it didn't have a dryer vent hose. We got them stacked and connected, or they were already stacked, but we put the connectors on. And then next weekend I'll bring down a dryer hose vent and we'll connect that up. I'm just gonna do a few things to kind of pack up and clean up and get out of here. Yesterday I took my Starlink wire and made it look nice under the deck. I want to just make it kind of look better in here, just straighten it up. So I'm gonna do that really quick. And then I also need to put the cover on the boat. It got pretty wet yesterday, so I was just letting it dry out overnight. So I want to put the cover on it. I got to disconnect the truck and then also just kind of load some stuff in the back that I know is going home. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. So next week I'm going to just continue working on trim. Hopefully get most of it knocked out, maybe even all of it, because I do have next Friday off. And hopefully we get some more boating in. It's been very slim so far. Just been really rainy this May and June, I guess. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any thoughts on this video or ideas for future videos, please leave those in the comments below. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and click on that notifications bell so you can be notified of my future videos. I'll see you next week.